नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Creation, Chapter 4, the appearance of Narada, text number 24. Te eva vedaha durmedaihi taeva veda durmedhair dharayante purushaihi yatha dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan evam chakara bhagavan vyasah kripanavatsalaha vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedair dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedhair dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedhair dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedhair dharayante purushair yatha vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedhair dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedhair dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedhair dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan vyasah kripanavatsalaha taiva veda durmedhair dharayante purushair yatha evam chakara bhagavan व्यासा कृपणवत्सलः तैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर् धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः तैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर् धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः तैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर् धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः ऑनलाइन
तएव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्
तैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः
व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः
तयैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्
तैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः
व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः
तैव वेद दुर्मेधे
तैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः
व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः
तयैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्
तैव वेदा दुर्मेधैर्
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
धारयन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा
एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः
व्यासः कृपणवत्सलः One more. Synonyms: they, that, eva, certainly, Vedaha, the book of knowledge, Durmedhai, by the less intellectual, Dharayante, can assimilate, Purushaihi, by the man, Yatha, as much as, Evam, thus, Chakara, edited, Bhagavan, the powerful, Vyasaha, the great sage Vyasa, Kripanavatsalaha, very kind to the ignorant mass. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: thus the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. Translation with repetition. Thus the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Veda is one, and the reasons for its divisions in many parts are explained herewith. The seed of all knowledge, or the Veda, is not a subject matter which can easily be understood by any ordinary man. There is a stricture that no one should try to learn the Vedas who is not a qualified Brahmana. This stricture has been wrongly interpreted in so many ways. A class of men who claim Brahminical qualification simply by their birthright in the family of a Brahmana claim that the study of the Vedas is a monopoly of the Brahmana caste only. Another section of the people take this as an injustice to members of other castes who do not happen to take birth in a Brahmana family. But both of them are misguided. The Vedas are subjects which are to be explained even to Brahmaji by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional quality of goodness. Persons who are in the modes of passion and ignorance are unable to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. The ultimate goal of Vedic knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This personality is very rarely understood by those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. In the Satya Yuga, everyone was situated in the mode of goodness. Gradually, the mode of goodness declined during the Treta and Dwapara Yugas, and the general mass of people became corrupt. In the present age, the mode of goodness is almost nil, and so for the general mass of people, the kind-hearted, powerful sage Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas in various ways so that they may be practically followed by less intelligent persons in the modes of passion and ignorance. It is explained in the next sloka as follows. The sense, the transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing our discussion on the appearance of Narada in the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this verse is spoken by whom?
Vyasadeva.
Okay, Vyasadeva. Now, anybody else? Vyasadeva is speaking himself.
No, Prabhuji, Naraji is speaking to Vyasadeva.
Yeah.
He has.
No. Narad Muni has not yet appeared. This discussion is going on as to how he appeared. How did Narad Muni come? There were many questions asked by the sages headed by Sonaka as to how Parikshit came. How did he meet Sukadev Goswami? How did this Bhagavatam come about? Like that, there are many questions they've asked. And this is Suta Goswami who has begun to speak. So he's saying how this Bhagavatam came about. He told that how Vyasadeva could see the anomalies which is going to come in the future because he's Trikalagya. He can see the past, present, and future. And in continuation of his saying, he is telling, Tayeva Veda Durmedhair Dharayante Purushayar Yatha Evam Chakara Bhagavan Vyasaha Kripana Vatsalaha. So there is a verse that I had shared earlier. That verse is Anartha Upasamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogam Adhokshade Lokasya Ajananto Vidvams Chakre Satota Samhita. That verse exactly tells why Bhagavatam was written by Vyasadeva. Anartha Upasamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogam Adhokshade. Anartha is Literally, the meaning of anartha is, I was reminded of one word used by one of the pandas in Jagannath Puri called tanav. Tanav is like the tension, the anxieties. So those miserable state that we have to go through. Anartha upasamam shakshat. So that anarthas, all those tensions, miseries can be mitigated by bhakti yogam adhokshaje, by engaging in devotional service to adhokshaje, to the Lord whose another name is adhokshaje, who's beyond the perception of our senses. Anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje lokasya ajananto vidvans. But people are unaware of it. They are suffering, but they don't really know the cause of their suffering. Lokasya ajananto vidvans. Chakre satvata samhita. Chakre is the word, just because I quoted this verse, because the word chakre is there in that. Chakre is edited or he compiled. Satvata Samhita. Satvata Samhita is another name of Bhagavatam. Satvata is 100% pure, the pure devotees. Samhita is a compilation. It is meant for 100% pure devotees. Chakre Satvata Samhita. Here also it is mentioned, Taeva Veda Durmedhair Dharayante Purushair Yatha Evam Chakara Bhagavan. Bhagavan is referring to Vyasadeva, the powerful Vyasa. Chakara Bhagavan Vyasaha. Kripana Vatsalaha. So Vyasadeva edited the Vedas into 4 because he could see Durmedhair, that the people in the Kali Yuga are going to be very less intelligent. Tayeva Veda Durmedhair Dharayante Purushair Yatha. Dharayante is like, a pot, how much it can contain, what is the capacity. So Dharayante is how much we can assimilate. Dharayante Purushair Yatha. As much, the people can assimilate. Based on that, he divided, he edited, he compiled the Vedas into 4. Evam Chakara Bhagavan Vyasaha Kripana Vatsala. Before we proceed and see some of the very interesting points which Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, one word which I want to highlight, which you can pay attention, is Kripana Vatsalaha. Vyasaha Kripana Vatsalaha. The word Kripana is used in Bhagavad Gita where? Not too much, other much. Okay, who can complete that verse? Ichchami tvam dharma samura cheta. Bhargav Prabhu. Yat shreyasyan nischitam bruhi tanme. Push, everybody is doing, but when it comes to saying, nobody is saying fully. This. Sisyasteham sadhi mam tvam prapannam. So the first word there is karpanya dosha pahata. Karpanya, miserly weakness. Karpanya dosha pahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudha cheta. I'm confused about my duty. This is Arjuna's humble submission, because of which Bhagavad Gita was spoken, because of which Krishna took a position of that of a spiritual master than being a friend. And in that purport, if you remember, there are 2 words which Prabhupada uses called Brahmana and Kripana. Kripana is a miser. Miser has a lot of wealth, but he doesn't utilize it for himself. He stores it, he locks it. He's, in Hindi we say kanjus, Kripana. So who is the Kripana here? Is it referring to those people who are not using their wealth for their own sake? For them, he's kind to them. Now, this kind of kripana is a different kind of kripana, which the Vedic literature talks about. The kripana is one who has been blessed with this human body, and yet he doesn't utilize this asset, for which it is meant for, self-realization. Vyasaha kripana vatsalaha. Vyasadeva is very kind to the ignorant mass. Vyasaha kripana vatsalaha. And that is how he compiled. He could see the anomalies. He could see that the people are going to be ignorant. They will be all busy with so many activities which fill the days. So how do they understand? How will they be able to assimilate this knowledge? So out of great compassion, he divided this Vedas into 4. I want to read one purport. No context given, just hear this purport. After asking and obtaining the great sage's permission to leave, the monarch mounted his chariot with his wife and started for his capital, followed by his retinue. Along the way, he saw the prosperity of the tranquil seers, beautiful hermitages, on both the charming banks of the Saraswati river, the river so agreeable to saintly persons. And a purport. As cities are constructed in the modern age with great engineering and architectural craftsmanship, so in days gone by, there were neighborhoods called Rishikulas, where great saintly persons resided. In India, there are still many magnificent places for spiritual understanding. There are many rishis and saintly persons living in nice cottages on the banks of the Ganges and Yamuna for purposes of spiritual cultivation. While passing through the Rishikulas, the king and his party were very much satisfied with the beauty of the cottages and hermitages. It is stated here, Pashyan Asrama Sampadaha. The great sages had no skyscrapers, but the hermitages were so beautiful that the king was very much pleased at the sight. Actually, this is in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is when Swayambhuva Manu is taking his daughter to Kardama Muni's ashram to give her hand to Kardama Muni. Swayambhuva Manu is a king, is a monarch. He is followed by his retinue. And he's coming by and he's describing a scene that the sages, in gone by days or in earlier days, they used to live in cottages, in hermitages, which is located next to the river. Like here it is mentioned next to Saraswati river, on the banks of river Saraswati. But even though it is a simple cottage, but it still used to be very beautiful and pleasing. The king was very much pleased at the sight where all these rishis used to live. So sometimes we think a rishi or who's a rishi, who's a sage. Sometimes based on serials and movies that we have seen, we see someone who's an elderly man with a lot of beard or some matted locks of hair, wearing some tree barks, and very gravely saying something like Ram, Beta Ram, how are you, and all. Like that we think that's what is the impression that we have. But actually, the important characteristics of these rishis are they're always situated in the mode of goodness. Always situated in the mode of goodness. And they're constantly striving for self-realization. In the purport, actually, if you see today's purport, Prabhupada actually talks about this one thing, very, very important thing, which cannot be missed, is so he's telling Vedas are subjects which had to be explained even to Brahmaji by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional qualities of goodness, not just goodness. Therefore, the subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional qualities of goodness. Persons who are in the modes of passion and ignorance are unable to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. The ultimate goal of the Vedic knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This personality is very rarely understood by those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. We will see exactly what is the characteristic of a person who is in these different modes. How do they work? Actually, there is an entire chapter in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, which is dedicated as to how we get bound by these different modes which act and how one can come out. And how it is so important, because Prabhupada is writing in the purport that in the Kali Yuga, in the present age, the mode of goodness is almost nil. And so for the general mass of people, the kind-hearted, powerful sage Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas in various ways so that they may be practically followed by the less intelligent persons in the modes of passion and ignorance. Actually, Kalau Sudra Sambhava. It is, the scriptures say that everybody who is born in this Kali Yuga are having the qualities of a Sudra. Kalau Sudra Sambhava. So in that kind of a situation, in that kind of an environment where we are predominantly in the mode of ignorance and passion, to understand this Vedic literature is not possible. The mode of goodness is almost, in the present age, the mode of goodness is almost nil. And so for the general mass of people, the kind-hearted, powerful sage Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas in various ways so that they may be practically followed by less intelligent persons in the modes of passion and ignorance. So from the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled as the three modes of material nature, if we see what are the characteristics of, I'll skip this also. What are the characteristics of people who are in the three modes of material nature? How does this three modes of material nature act? And what are the characteristics? The first thing Krishna says is a person who is in the mode of goodness. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasakam manamayam sukha sangena badhnati jnana sangena chanagha. So nirmalatvat. Nirmalatvat means he is free from the contaminations. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasakam anamayam. The word Krishna uses is somebody who is situated in the mode of goodness. It is illuminating, prakasakam, and anamayam. Anamayam means he is sinless. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasakam anamayam sukha sangena badhnati jnana sangena chanagha. If it is illuminating, what does it happen? प्रकाशकम means what? घर में ज्यादा रोशनी आ जाएगा, क्या होगा? Means what? Jnana Chakshu. You're right. Prakasakam is related to Jnana. So there are two things which is mentioned. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat. Prakasakam Anamayam. Prakasakam is illuminating. So illumination, the sign of illumination is he will seek the knowledge. Prakasakam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Badhnati Jnana Sangena Chanaga. And Anamayam means what? Sinful reactions. So it is the opposite of sinful reaction. Anamayam, anamayam. So there is no sinful reaction. So if there is no sinful reaction, then what will happen? Then the person will become peaceful, happy. Jnana sukha sanghena badhnati jnana sanghena chanagha. So a person, when he is in the mode of goodness, nirmalatvat, he will be pure in the material world, and prakasakam and anamayam. Prakasakam means It is illuminating, and anamayam is free from the sinful reactions. So jnana sangena chanagha. But the problem with mode of goodness is still one gets bound by what? By happiness and knowledge. Whatever knowledge he has got, thus situated in the mode of in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge, both. Sukha sangena badnati, jnana sangena chanagha. So a person, actually Prabhupada gives the example of scientists and poets, writers. They are very peaceful, they are happy. They are in the mode of goodness. Not all the scientists, but mostly, they are in the mode of goodness and they are illuminated, but they become bound by that happiness and the knowledge that they have. In the purport, actually Prabhupada talks about the first line of the purport. There are three kinds of men. One is happy, one is active, and the other one is helpless. You read the purport? First line. One is happy, one is very active, and the other one is helpless. So maybe the middle one is happy. This side guy is active, is helpless. I could not find. There could be maybe three different people, but I just wanted to have in one picture. So a person who is happy, happiness is a prerequisite to understand the spiritual knowledge. If a person is always disturbed, agitated, always restless, then he cannot understand. And the other two are, we can see that people who are so passionate, they're always active, want to do something, don't know what it is, but I have to do. Give me some work, otherwise I'm just getting mad. And the third person is inactive. He doesn't care. Material activity, spiritual activity, what activity? No activity. I don't know. I'm just a victim. My job is not this thing. My family is not there. He's always in the helpless condition. That is the mode of ignorance. Actually, when we see people, when we talk to them, we can see from just by talking to them, just by our interaction, we can see how this goodness, passion, and ignorance, how these are present in people in different degrees. Interesting thing is what Krishna says. Of course, the interesting thing will come. The next is the mode of passion. Mode of passion, the symptoms or the characteristic which Krishna mentions is Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam Tan Nibadnanti Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehina. Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi, Raga Atmakam. It is born of the mode of passion. Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam. Trishna is Mriga Trishna. Trishna is that hankering. It is the thirst, incessant hankering. Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam. It is born of incessant hankering. Tan Nibadnanti Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehina. How do they get bound? They get bound by the fruitive activities. They keep doing this. Whole day they just want to do something. They just can't sit in one place. You ask them, today's job for you is to sit in one place. That's all. That's all? You'll get mad. Well, I don't have to do anything. No, you don't have to do anything. You just sit in one place. I've never seen, I can't. No instrument, nothing, no gadget, just sit in one place. Peacefully just sit. We cannot. Tan nibadhanti kaunteya karma sangena dehina. They are always hankering. I want this, I want that, I want this. This is not there. This is this kind of activity, that kind of activity. That is a symptom of a person who is in the mode of passion. The modes of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. The son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Karma sangena dehina. First one is mode of goodness, nirmalatvam, prakasakam, and anamaya. It is illuminating and it is free from the sinful activities. But it gets bound by jnana and sukha, by happiness and knowledge. Second one is mode of passion, which is born of incessant hankerings and longings. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi, Trishna sanga samudbhavam. And they get bound by fruitive activities, karma sangena dehina. Then the last one, which is mode of ignorance. Tamasto ajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhis tan nibadhanti bharata. Tamasto ajnanajam vidhi. So this ignorance, mohanam sarvadehinam, it bewilders a person completely. Delusion, mohanam sarvadehinam. And there are three ways they get bound: pramada, nidra, pramada, and alasya. Pramada is madness. Alasya is laziness, indolence, and nidra, sleep. Prabhupada says, 6 hours of sleep is enough for us. Maybe 1 hour here and there, 7 hours. These people think the best thing in life is just sleep as much as possible. Just lie down in one place, don't do anything, don't bother. Pramada, alasya, and there is madness, because what is going on, who cares, they're drunk or they're in some kind of states. It's very, very, very difficult. And if you look at the present age, as Prabhupada is saying, and if you read this purports very nicely, it is explained the characteristics of people who are in this passion and mode of ignorance. 99.99% will fall in that category. People are always in the mode of passion and ignorance. Then what is the silver lining? What is the saving grace for us? The saving grace is that actually nobody can remain in an unadulterated state of goodness, passion, or ignorance. There is always a tinge of the other two also. Predominantly, one may be in the mode of ignorance, or in the mode of passion, or in the mode of goodness, but then the other two are also present. So even if somebody is deeply in ignorance or in passion, there is still some goodness in this. Rajas tamas chabhi bhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajas sattvam tamas chaiva tamas sattvam rajas tatha. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So this is a constant battle which is going on inside between goodness, passion, and ignorance. But very interestingly, what Prabhupada mentions in the purport is, who becomes victorious? That mode becomes victorious whom we are feeding, whom we are trying to nurture. So if you read the purport, Prabhupada says, the prominence of some certain mode of nature is manifested in one's dealings, in his activities, in eating, etc. All this will be explained in later chapters. But if one wants, he can develop by practice the mode of goodness and thus defeat the modes of ignorance and passion. One can similarly develop the mode of passion and defeat goodness and ignorance. One can develop the mode of ignorance and defeat goodness and passion. Although there are these three modes of material nature, if one is determined, he can be blessed by the mode of goodness. And by transcending the mode of goodness, he can be situated in pure goodness, which is called the Vasudev state, a state in which one can understand the signs of God. The very interesting thing which Prabhupada is mentioning here is, although there are three modes of material nature, if one is determined, it's a very important characteristics, determination, he can be blessed by the modes of goodness. And how does it help to come to the mode of goodness? What propels us to come to the mode of goodness? It manifests in one's dealings, in his activities. Somebody who gets up early in the morning, he is automatically going in the mode of goodness. Somebody who's eating only prasadam, the food which is offered to the Lord, then by default he's coming to the state of the mode of goodness. Or he's fasting on Ekadashis. All these things help him to come to the state of goodness. So that is the minimum thing which is required if we want even to understand this Vedic literature. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvam prakasakam anamayam. So it is illuminating, and one will refrain from sinful activities. Otherwise, it is, when the mode of passion and ignorance comes, it's very, very difficult to control, to curb those tendencies. That is exactly why we have to associate with devotees. That is exactly why we have to do the spiritual activities. At least our determination should be to come to the state of goodness. Of course, goodness binds, but at least goodness is required to even understand the higher purposes of life. And by coming to the state of goodness, then Prabhupada is saying, which is called, after that also one should transcend this mode of goodness, because goodness also binds, which is called the Vasudev state, a state in which one can understand the science of God. And how can one cross over this modes of material nature? What does Bhagavad Gita say about this? What is the 14th chapter? Okay, that is Mama Maya Duratyaya, Mameva ye prapadyante, Maya metam tarantite. Mataji? What is that? Who knows this verse? This is in the 14th chapter. Actually, Krishna tells how we can come out of the influences of this modes of material nature. (14.26). Open your books. Bhargav Prabhu. Mam cho yo abhya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati teitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Abhya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate. That abhya vichare bhakti is a very important thing. Uninterruptedly. Mam cho yo abhya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati teitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So when one engages in devotional service to the Lord in an uninterrupted manner, continuously, then can one cross over, then can one come out of this Sagunan Samati Teitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Then he can come to the state of Brahma. So the important points from this purport in this verse is, first thing is the compassion of the sages like Vyasadeva, right? Kripana Vatsalaha. How they were so compassionate to the people who were in this state of anxieties and miseries. Actually, if you see in our own life, for whom we have compassion, we will not feel compassion for people who are dying in somewhere else. Let's say in Africa, there are thousands of people who died. Let's say there is a news which we heard today in the morning. There will not be anything in our heart. Okay, they died. As a matter of fact, we read, and we will continue with our lives. If anything happens to our near and dear ones, our own family members, relatives, friends, then we feel little compassion. But the sages, they were extremely compassionate for all the suffering souls. And that is how Vyasadeva could see that these people will be suffering. They're unaware, they're ignorant. And that is how he divided this Vedas. And this compassion is not just found in Vyasadeva, in all the acharyas. Ramanujacharya, the famous, Ramanujacharya of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is this, we know the story of how his guru, who initiated him and gave him this guru mantra, and he said that by chanting this mantra, you can actually go back home, back to Godhead. But you should not reveal this to, now that you are initiated, you have got this mantra, you should not reveal this to any normal people. The following day, when his guru had gone for some work and he was not present, he saw that there was a large crowd who have gathered, and then he goes and he shouts and he shares that this mantra, if you chant, then you can all go back home, back to Godhead. So when his guru came to know about this, he was very angry. He said, "Why did you do this? For this kind of an act, you might have to go to hell." And that time Ramanujacharya said, if all these fallen souls are going back home, back to Godhead, for that, if I have to pay this price of being at hell, it's a very small price. It doesn't matter. Prabhupada gives the example of Jesus Christ, who got crucified because of the compassion that he had for people. People don't understand this. And Prabhupada himself, in his own life, has demonstrated his unlimited compassion That's why our fundraiser is also the Voice of Compassion, has landed in Shrewsbury, a place near you. Very apt that the Voice of Compassion. Actually, that we know how much of hardships, how much of difficulty he had before coming to this country. For what reasons? Why he has to tolerate all these things? The reason being, a Vaishnava, a pure devotee, always carries deep compassion in his heart. And that compassion manifests in their activities, in their dealings, in their behavior. And that is how, devotees, that is how the common mass of people get transformed. That song which Prabhupada wrote, if you remember, Baro Kripa Koile Krishna, when he landed here in the Commonwealth Pier. Just want to share it. So if you see, there is one line where it is mentioned, Rajas tamo gune era sabai achanna Vasudeva katha ruchi nahe se prasanna. Rajas tamo gune era sabai achanna. Actually, the entire material world is covered by this Rajas and Tamoguna. People are covered with this Rajas and Tamoguna. Vasudeva katha ruchi nahe se prasanna. How will they get a taste for hearing Vasudeva katha, for the activities of the Lord? Then he's telling, Tabe jadi taba kripa hoy ahituki, sakale sambhava hoy tume sei kautuki. Only if you bless me, only if your mercy is there, tabe jadi taba kripa hoy ahituki. There is a causeless mercy. Sakale ei sambhava hoy tumi sei kautuki. Then everything is possible. But very interestingly, what was the conviction that Prabhupada had, which I have told also earlier, but the conviction, if you see, while writing this Bengali poem, Prabhupada brings these verses from Bhagavatam, which says, Shrinvatam Sokatha Krishnaha Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Pradayantastho hi abhadrani vidhunoti suhrut satam Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam Bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Then tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayas chaye Cheta ete rana viddham stitam sattve prasidati. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Bhidyate hridaya granthis chidyante sarva samshaya shiyante chasya karmani drashtva evatmanisware. So this is a very, very important thing actually. This is a clue. This verse, this series of verses which is there in Bhagavatam 1.2.17 or I think 16 till 19 or something. The series of verses has a clue as to how conditioned living entity can come out of this bondage. And the clue is, it is actually there in the 7th chapter, 1st verse purport. If you see Bhagavad Gita 7.1, Prabhupada quotes this verse. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. Shrinvatam Sokatha Krishna. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. So, Shrinvata Sokatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Pradayantastho hi avadrani vidhunoti suhrut satam. Suhrut is the best friend. Vidhunoti. He cleanses the heart just by hearing. Shrinvata Swakatha Krishna. When we hear, we don't even understand what it is, whatever it is. But if we hear Shrinvata Swakatha Krishna, when this Krishna Shravana happens, the activities or the names of the Lord are heard, then Punya Shravana Kirtana, this is the most auspicious thing. Because Hridayantasto hi avadrani, the avadrani in the heart can never be cleansed by any other method. There is no other way. Hridayantasto hi avadrani vidhunoti surut satam. The Lord, who's our best well-wisher seated in our heart as Paramatma cleanses our heart from all this dusts, the coverings, the impurities. And then Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We chant this verse every time before we have any class or Bhagavatam. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. Then almost, Prayeshu means almost all the impurities, Abhadreshu. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. Almost all the impurities are, it's like mostly destroyed. By Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, by hearing this Bhagavatam regularly. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, not just hearing Bhagavatam, also engaging in practical devotional service to a pure devotee. Bhagavat has got two meanings. One is the book Bhagavatam and the other one is person Bhagavatam. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Seva for Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam is hearing. Seva for pure Bhagavatam or a person Bhagavatam is to engage in devotional service. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke is Uttama Shloka is the Lord, Bhagavan, Uttama Shloka. To him, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. A bhakti in our heart develops, which is an irrevocable fact. Naishtiki Bhakti. It cannot be, it's a state where you have reached it, you will not come back. Naishtiki Bhakti will come. And once one develops a Naishtiki Bhakti, Tada Rajas Tamo Bhava, Kama Lobha Dayas Chaye, Cheta Eter Anabidham Stitam Sattve Prashidati. Tada Rajas Tamo Bhava. Then this influence of this Raja and Tama, Rajas and Tamas, the mode of passion and ignorance will be removed. Kama Lobha Dayas Chaye, which manifests in the form of Kama, lusty desires, or desires to enjoy this material world, and Lobha. Lobha Adayas. Lobha is greed, Adayas, etc. Cheta Eter Anabidham Stitam Sattve Prasidati. Then one becomes fixed in the mode of goodness. Stitam Sattve Prasidati. Then Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Evam Prasanna Manaso. Then one becomes happy. Mind becomes happy. What are the qualifications of Brahmana? What does Sama mean? Sama is the first quality. Equal to everyone. Everyone. Sama, it is not that Sama. Sama, Dhamma is self-control. What is Sama? Bhagavad Gita 18.43, 18.44 or 43. 45, 42, peacefulness. So Sama means peacefulness, and peacefulness comes, actually Prabhupada explains, by controlling the mind. First thing is that controlling the mind. Dhamma is controlling the senses. Sama and Dhamma. So here it is mentioned, Evam Prasanna Manaso. Mind has to be satisfied, Prasanna, peaceful. Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogata. Then he can engage in the Bhagavat Bhakti. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Actually, Bhagavat Tattva, to understand the Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam, the realized knowledge of Bhagavat Tattva is not easy. Mukta Sangasya Jayate, that he'll become liberated. We know this verse from Bhagavad Gita, which Prabhupada is one of the most quoted verses, or Prabhupada has given the maximum number of lectures on that. Is Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Gyanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. To understand Krishna in Tattva, in completeness, is not easy. People say I'm worshipping Krishna in some sentiments or in some kind of ritualistic way, but to understand in Tattva, when Krishna says, Manusyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye, Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Vetti Tattvataha. Kaschin Mam Vetti Tattvataha. To know me in completeness, in totality, in truth, in fullness is not possible. Then Vidyate Hridaya Granthis Chidyante Sarva Samshaya Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Drishtva Eva Atmanisware. Vidyante Hridaya Granthis. These words are like, like a war. Vidyate Hridaya Granthis. Vidyate is to cut. Vidyate Hridaya Granthis. Granthis are the knots. We were discussing this in our Kartik meditation, how these knots get formed so easily. One after another, it is very easy to form the knots. but to remove them, untie them, it is not easy. So in our hridaya, in our heart, there are many granthis, many knots. The knots of lust, anger, greed, pride, enviousness, anger. All these things are very deep rooted. Vidyate hridaya granthis, it cuts them. Chidyante sarva samshaya, all the doubts are gone. Kshiyante chasya karmani. All the sinful activities, all the fruitive activities, kshiyante chasya karmani, are also, it's completely eradicated. Drashtva evatmanistvara. Then he is able to see himself properly. But remember, all this thing starts with Shrinvata Shokatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. So it's a very important verse, very, very important series of verses which Krishna actually mentions, was mentioned in Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada writes that in that song that he composed when he landed here in Commonwealth here. So in our lives also we should try, actually we can see the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance in our own lives. Now, how even if there is a little goodness which we try to practice or do something, it's still, it is, it's like stolen, that moment or that consciousness, that activity is stolen by passion and ignorance. So how do we remain fixed? It all starts with Srinivasa Swakatha Krishna, that, the sequence follows. So one important announcement for today is continuing with that series of compassion that Vyasadev demonstrated. Ramanujacharya was mentioning, Jesus Christ was mentioning, and Srila Prabhupada himself. One of the very important characteristic of a Vaishnava is also he is compassionate on these people who are suffering in this material world. That's why we sing every day in the morning the pranam mantra for Vaishnavas. Vancha
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha.
So Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha. Kripa sindhu. How much of compassion? Compassion like that of an ocean. Kripa sindhubhya eva cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Patitanam pavanebhyo. People who are fallen, who are suffering, for them to deliver them, Vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Actually, that compassion should be there in everybody's heart, and that can manifest in our action by doing one simple thing, which is distributing books of Srila Prabhupada to the fallen conditioned souls in this material world. After all, what can we give to a person which will benefit him the most? That, if we have that compassion in our heart and go and give to someone, this actually can help you from your suffering of this material world. And if he reads and takes that book with that, with that same conviction, with that good faith, then that's the highest service that one can do. So today is 6th December, and we are very happy to say that we will have a book marathon this year as well. But we will follow all the social guidelines, all the precautions that should be taken. We should do that. These are unprecedented times. But then, still, with all those precautions, if we are able to, we should try. And I think most of the people who participated in last year book marathon are present here. So I think you are a team leader, right? Param Gyan Guhya, what is that team? Param Guhya? What is the team name? No. What is the team name? Param Guhya or bhi kuch tha. It's not exactly Param Gyan or Param Guhya Gyan. Param Guhya Brahma Gyan. Okay. So Param Guhya Brahma Gyan team members are all present here. Harigopal Prabhu and Arvind Prabhu and Mataji. You are Srimati Radharani. Radharani. Arvind, what was your team? Radharani was Mataji. Yours was Radharani. Govinda, what was your? Radha Damodar. Okay, so 4 teams are anyway here. I think you can join one of these teams. You can choose. So you have to have your manifesto and have to have your target and what you want to do. Just have the caution, but the important thing is also to have the compassion. And whatever we can do, I'm not pushing too much, but actually we should try. We should do this. It's not like it's completely impossible. If anybody has any suggestions or any ideas as to how we can do, you're most welcome. But officially, we are starting it today, and it will end on February 7th, which is a Sunday. So you have 2 months. If you want to change your names, you are most welcome. We will have a group now created. And if you want to add new members, you are most welcome. If there are anybody else you want to be part of, you were there, no, last year. Which team? Did you have a name? You didn't have a name. So if you want to, with Anna and whoever, you can. Huh? Kaushiki, you gave one book last year. Money came or no? Money came? So let's all participate in this book marathon and ensure that we do our part. If we become instrument in the compassion of a devotee's mission, small instrument in reaching out and giving some books or whatever it is, it will be an amazing service. It will please not only just Prabhupada and Krishna, it will please the whole Guru Parampara. And the blessings are just unlimited in that. There is a place where Prabhupada says, let's have that and with that we will close. There are so many quotes, there are so many things which we can. Okay, let me share. No, why not? Why not do that? Anyway, you want to say something? The rules, like how many people can participate? The same rule, whatever we had in the last year. If you have forgotten, the children's books will count 1/10, or what was it? Children books are, yeah. I think we can have magazine subscription also as one of the. For children books, how much it was? Do you remember? It was less. It was 50%. Okay, it was 50%. How many of you have seen this PPT? Nobody. Okay, this is Bangalore. It's from Bangalore's book marathon. Very interesting quotes on this. This is Vishveshatirtha Swamiji. Just as Bhagirath brought the Ganga to India, Swami Prabhupada brought the Bhakti Ganga to the whole world. Chinnajir Swami. It is only because of Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada that the Bhakti movement started in the Western world and spread like wildfire for good all over the world. It appears as if it is a miracle, but it is so true. The greatness of Bhakti is such as is the greatness of, how do you see that? Of Lord Krishna and the spirit of Srila Prabhupada. If not for the compassion of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, I never would have achieved the supreme treasure of Krishna's holy names. Dr. Thomas J. Hopkins, Professor of Religion, Franklin and Marshall College. There is little question that this edition is one of the best books available on the Gita and devotion. Prabhupada's translation is an ideal blend of literal accuracy and religious insight. George Harrison, Srila Prabhupada has already had an amazing effect on the world. There is no way of measuring it. One day I just realized, God, this man is amazing. Dr. Samuel D. Atkins. I'm most impressed with A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's scholarly and authoritative edition of Bhagavad Gita. It is a most valuable work for the scholar as well as the layman, and is of great utility as a reference book as well as a textbook. I promptly recommend this edition. It is a beautifully done book. So the glories of book distribution, there are many quotes. This part is not clear. In this modern godless civilization, everyone is greatly suffering due to lack of the real knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And our task is very great and very important. We must deliver this pure science of God to everyone and give them the chance to make their lives successful. Please distribute book, distribute book, distribute book. A greater Mridanga. We are chanting, playing our Mridanga. It is heard within this room a little more. But this Mridanga will go home to home, country to country, community to community, this Mridanga. So this is called Brihat Mridanga. Mridanga that we play is, the sound is restricted to this room at the max, or maybe just a few rooms here and there. But Brihat Mridanga, when we distribute this book to different communities, then this can be heard and it can, people can get benefited by this knowledge, this book, in every part of every corner of this world. If he reads one shloka, his life will be successful. If one shloka, one word, this is such nice things. Therefore, we are stressing so much. Please distribute book, distribute book, distribute book. Again, 3 times Prabhupada is saying, distribute book. Book distribution is solid. Even if they do not read, simply by touching, they are benefited. It is so much powerful. Therefore, we stress so much in the book distribution. Somehow or other, if the book goes in one hand, he will be benefited. At least he will see, oh, they have taken so much price. Let me see what is there. There are some milestones, but it is not specific to our temple. But I can share the milestone of ISKCON Bangalore. We will have something similar to that. 100 rupees gift voucher for 20,000 points. 20,000 points is 20,000 rupees worth books. If they sell, then there is a voucher. So we will also have some gift voucher. I will share that in the group. So I request devotees to take this opportunity and in your own ways. Everybody knows their own conditions. So whatever you can do with the present situation and conditions, try and do this book distribution. I'll stop here and see if you have any questions or any comments. Distribution. Do anything else? What is that? 9th offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of holy name. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, and so the offense is against the holy name, the one that you are referring to. So it is not like, you are not prohibited from telling about the holy name to someone, but the glories of the holy name. To instruct a faithless person about the person who is faithless, you can tell him to chant Hare Krishna mantra and get benefited. But if he is offending and you continue to glorify the holy name, then he will continue to make offenses. So it is an offense against the holy name. It is the glories of the holy name. It is not to instruct a faithless person about the glories of holy name, not to instruct a faithless person about the holy name. There is a difference. So when we glorify in front of a faithless person, he'll do more offense. That's why we don't do. Doesn't mean that we'll not approach and will not tell. No, you can go and approach and tell. Otherwise, if there was no pushing, if there was nobody who would have stopped us and given us that book or told us to chant, we would have never done in our lives. I was faithless, 100% faithless. There was no faith in books. Then this thing was there, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, we have heard, the respect was there, but then why will I read? I had no idea. In fact, there is if you think Jajati is dropped, okay. He's my MBA college mate, so you can refer to him, you can talk to him, he'll tell what was. So there was no faith at all. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Actually, here also I want to distribute the books, but the main question is that how do I get the books? Bhagavad Gita.
We can supply you whatever you want. We can directly ship it to your address, and instead of we receiving it, you will receive it, and you let us know what you want, which books you want, what kind of which language and which books you want, and we can do that.
Okay, Broji, I will let you know. Actually, mostly here Telugu people are there, so
Yeah.
mostly
Okay.
so mostly Telugu and English, and very few Hindi will be. I will let you know probably how much book I need, so that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any other question? Any other thoughts? How do they collect books? The books will be here. They have to write, like when the last time we had the same process of writing an email to Badrinaran Prabhu with the indent. Okay, CC to me. And then based on that, you take 1 week to replenish, or 15 minutes. I think initial stock, whatever they want, you give it. Afterwards, when they want for replenishment, we may take about a week or so. But right now, whatever you want, the stocks you can send an inventory. You'll also share what all books we have. So they can, yeah. Any other questions? जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, श्रील प्रभुपाद बुक मैराथन की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे।